a visit to the hallowed shrine in Lexington, Kentucky. Welcome everybody to the Rupp Arena at Syracuse in Kentucky. It's the land of the bluegrass, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm Brett Musburger along with Billy Packer. Well, the Big East and the Southeastern Conference get together on this Sunday afternoon. You know, both these fine teams have got one eye down the road on the upcoming NCAA tournament. This is a big test, but Kentucky will be without its star, Rex Chapman. I asked Rex what happened the other night when he injured his back against LSU.
I didn't know if I wanted to try and go in straight and maybe try to dunk it or just to lay it in. And I was a little too far out to try to dunk it, so I just thought I'd lay it up there. And when I did, I kind of got my butt and legs caught on his shoulders and then flipped back and I was hoping my legs would get down there, but they never did, and I just landed right on my back. Yeah, it knocked my breath out of me, and I think that scared me pretty much. I couldn't get my breath.
Let me update that for you. It's not as serious as was first reported. In fact, Rex warmed up today, not expected to play. What will they do without?
Well, Brent, it's very difficult to change anything offensively or defensively when you lose a star of this magnitude. It puts an awful lot of pressure on Eddie Davender, particularly if this game goes down the wire, to both handle the ball and take the big shot.
Now, what about Jim Boeheim and his crew, including center Rony Seikaly?
Well, one of the things Jimmy Boeheim was probably looking forward to trying some of his young defenses against a club featuring a Rex Chapman. He won't have to do that now, but Rony Seikaly has always played great games against teams with big reputations who had big people. I don't know if he'll have another monster game today. We'll have to wait and see.
Billy, Coach Eddie Sutton of Kentucky was asked, how do you feel about being an underdog at home? He said, I'd rather have Rex Chapman and be a favorite. Coming up, Kentucky and Syracuse.
CBS Sports presents college basketball. Today's game between the Syracuse Orangemen and the Kentucky Wildcats is sponsored by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. And by Haviland Supreme Motor Oil, the motor oil that's cool under fire.
Shape our future, we invite you to learn the technology of tomorrow while you serve your country in the Navy of today.
Who would you say makes the best personal computers for business? The brand being added by the most major corporations? The one rated highest in performance by computer experts? The one that won the most industry awards? Or the one that's grown the fastest? Hard call, right? Not really. In each case, the answer is Compaq. It simply works better.
Of all the cars that come out each year, only one can be the Motor Trend Car of the Year. For 1988, that one is this one, the hot new Pontiac Grand Prix. Get on the Pontiac and ride! Pontiac ride! The new Grand Prix, Motor Trend's Car of the Year. You've got to drive it. Get on the Pontiac! Rebuild excitement!
Marvelous setting here in Lexington at the Rupp Arena. Syracuse comes in here with a starting lineup that averages in the double figures for Coach Jim Boeheim. Up front, he's extremely talented. Coleman at 6'9", averages better than 14 points. Thompson plays taller than 6'4". Seikaly goes at 6'11", and he averages almost 16 a game. Then in the backcourt, and Douglas is their leading scorer at better than 16 a game. And Rowe, he's the three-point shooter. On the other side, Eddie Sutton, who now has won 400 games at Creighton, Arkansas here. Bennett and Ellis steps into that starting lineup today with Chapman out. Locke is his center. And in the backcourt, well, the team leader is Eddie Davender. He averages 16 a game. He's 6'2". And Manuel, the freshman, moves to that other guard spot. But they tell me, Terry, that Manuel is more comfortable at guard than he is at forward.
You know, he's a very versatile player for a freshman. Really can play 3 spots on the floor. So it really didn't hurt Eddie Sutton that much in that respect. But, of course, you can't make up for a Chapman in one day.
Syracuse fans are gasping. They don't recognize these uniforms. For the first time since the mid-70s, they break out the blue. Now, Coach Boeheim ordered them for last year. They didn't arrive in time, and so today they're wearing them for the first time since 1975. Should they lose, you'll see them again in another 10 years.
Well, straight man-to-man coming up by Kentucky. Syracuse very seldom sees man-to-man.
Coleman getting in on Ellis, and Ellis came over. And a foul is called on Winston Bennett.
Early in the year, Brent, it almost got to be that Syracuse hated to go out on the floor in games, expecting to see the packed-in zone. But you can see the respect that Matt Rowe has created for the opponents, and now people are playing them straight up man-to-man.
But let me correct that. It was Ellis moving in from the side who made the contact and was assessed the person. Syracuse has attempted 132 more free throws than Kentucky. They have made 18 less. So they've been the Achilles heel of this team for the last several years. They start off hitting 50% at the line. This is Davender out of Brooklyn, running the Wildcat attack. Bennett 25, rebounding from knee surgery. He missed all of last year. Ellis, the freshman from California. Sends it back to Davender, and Bennett, who has been practicing that jump shot of his relentlessly this season, looking for a little daylight. It'll be Davender. A 2-point field goal for Eddie Davender puts the Wildcats ahead. Syracuse looking for its first point for the Wildcats.
And here's why you don't play them man-to-man often. Rony Seikaly with Rob Locke all by himself down inside. If Locke's going to allow him to post up that close to the basket, he's in trouble.
Quote from Seikaly before the game began. If they show me man, it's lights out.
That's a strong statement, but you certainly can't let him handle it that low.
Bennett. Thompson jumped out and fouled him. His first. Let's take a look at the Southeastern Conference standings, and Eddie Sutton with an eye on that chase, and some big games coming up against Georgia amongst them. That's why he kept Chapman out. Now, as far as the Big East is concerned, be with us next Sunday. We'll be at the Carrier Dome. There'll be a huge throng there. Pittsburgh and Syracuse expected to decide the regular season championship before the conference heads for Madison Square Garden in its annual tournament. In uniform, he practiced a little bit yesterday. Rex Chapman, he broke a small bone, small of his back. That sounds more serious than it is, however, and he will have to play through some pain when the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament gets underway. But the doctors say there is no danger that he will suffer any more injury.
Full court zone pressure. Nice job by Kentucky.
Bennett missing. Coleman's strength, rebounding, outlet to Douglas. It's 3-on-2. Back into the hands of the point man, and here's Seikaly's second field goal. Good ball movement there underneath by the Orangemen.
Brent, this press could be effective because of the size that Kentucky has. It's very difficult to throw over the top of that front line of the press. But you can see what Douglas can do in the open court area. One of the best in the whole country.
Opening moments for Kentucky and Syracuse. Ellis. Locke crashes to the glass. They go over to Syracuse. Coleman had the inside position, rebounding.
Syracuse showed a little junk defense that time down the court with a little box and one on Eddie Davender. I guess if Jimmy's going to practice it, he wants to use it.
Seikaly with 3 baskets, basically layups, and they'll have to adjust their defense now soon.
Problems there because Rony Seikaly just gets easy inside position. Let's check this defense out again. And now they're playing a triangle in 2.
Manuel. And Locke with an offensive rebound and a putback field goal.
Stevie Thompson all alone.
And Bennett quickly gets a hand on the ball and deflects it out of bounds. Saved a layup with that move.
Bennett, good hustle, realizing he's got to get back. That's going to be an interesting matchup because Bennett should have an advantage over Thompson if he can power him inside, even though Stevie Thompson has great leaping ability.
Manuel taking Rowe off a fake, comes inside the freshman, and Locke yanks away a defensive rebound. Now it's Davender on the move, looking for daylight. Goes in. Oh, yeah! Great play by Eddie Davender.
Now, we thought that Eddie Sutton would try to pace this game a little bit. And that was just a super push-up court by Eddie Davender. He lost the ball on his hip, but you're looking at a guy that scored right in between Rowe and Seikaly. Seikaly, an excellent shot blocker, just can't get to it.
The personal foul is assessed Rowe, his first. The officials for this game from the Big East, Jody Sylvester, the referee.
But one of the things, though, that could happen to Kentucky is to get into this up and down the court type action, which is really not for their benefit with Chapman out of this game. Here comes the 1-2-1-1 press. Lock back for safety.
Thompson into the hands of Douglas, and here's Seikaly drawing the foul.
Step.
Sutton complaining that he traveled over on the Kentucky bench.
Rony Seikaly needed to get a little wider base that time down inside. His feet were not quite adjusted, and even though the people went over his back, he wasn't able to score. He's loving it. Look at the smile on his face. He loves to see this man-to-man.
Taking the inbounds from Coleman. Now Coleman getting in behind, and Ellis deflected the ball away, and into the hands of Davender, loses the dribble. Thompson's got it for the Orange man. This is Douglas.
His pace is Syracuse's pace.
Offensive foul is called as Douglas dealt it over to Coleman a little bit late, and that's his first.
One of those fifth-year seniors, Winston Bennett, instead of trying to make the spectacular block on Douglas, that good foot position to draw the charge. There Syracuse goes to the 2-3 zone, so they showed a lot of different looks so far early in this ball game.
Here's Ellis, his second shot. Kentucky up by 3.
Well, last year Kentucky lived with a 3-point shot. This year they're not shooting anywhere near as many. Much better inside attack.
Hustling, Leron Ellis knocking the ball out of bounds. The freshman showing some marvelous desire here in the early moments. And some substitutions with Duncan checking in and Brower. There's Derek Brower, 6'9". And Rowe sits alongside Thompson on the Syracuse bench.
Nobody guarding the man taking the ball out of bounds. I thought Kentucky might overplay a little bit, try to go for the steal.
He traveled.
Great defense by Eddie Davender. Douglas is extremely quick. Davender didn't go for that ball fake.
Timeout is being called here by TV, and we'll be right back.
If you like to drive, really like to drive, this is what your next car should be. This is the all-new Pontiac Grand Prix. Get on your Pontiac and ride! Pontiac ride! This is the 1988 Motor Trend Car of the Year. And that ought to be you driving. Get on your Pontiac! We feel excitement! Pontiac!
When the heat's on, motor oil viscosity can break down. To help keep your engine cool, trust Haviland Supreme. The motor oil is cool under fire. Haviland's viscosity booster helps protect engines against wear under extreme heat and stress. Haviland Supreme, cool under fire.
Great. Hope we wanted a Bud Light.
Bud Light! If you want the great taste of Bud Light, ask for it.
I'll go get pizza.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a line.
When you're as talented as Derek Coleman, even though you're a sophomore, there are always rumors about the possibility of turning pro. Derek and I talked about it yesterday.
It's a major goal for me just to get a degree. And I've really, promised my mother I would stay in school and would not go or leave early. So that's really my priority right now.
So for the time being, put those rumors to rest. And there's a young man by the name of Billy Owens coming to Syracuse next year. Derek certainly wants to spend at least one season teamed up with him. Billy Owens' reputation ranks him up with the very best who've come out of high school basketball in the last few years. And, of course, there's something else to prove. Last year they were a runner-up to Indiana, and this year they'd like to go all the way. First things first, they trail Kentucky by 3 here in the Rupp Arena. Bennett with a nice drive off the dribble. Ellis with an offensive rebound. Foul is called, and it goes against Locke. His first.
Trent, that last drive by Bennett. Now, if you're going to scout Syracuse and you're going to see them in a man-to-man, whoever Coleman is guarding, and this is one deficiency he really has in his game, he really can handle a man defensively that's playing out the fifth on the wing spot. And as you saw, Bennett went right by him.
Cavender hounding Douglas all over him. In deep to Derek Coleman. Missing. Ellis keeps it in play. Cavender comes out on the move. And now he elects to bring it back up and set up the half-court game.
Locke and Ellis doing a good job keeping that ball alive on the board.
Here's Bennett. That jump shot he practices over and over again. He is a better jump shooter now, Billy, than he was prior to that knee injury, they tell me.
Yeah, I think that year off helped him a little bit, but he was slow coming back this year and really is just now starting to show the signs of being the player that we thought he would be.
Duncan giving it to Seikaly, and that has been the Syracuse offense. Seikaly on the inside for 4 field goals. It's Kentucky 12, Syracuse 9. Just under 15 minutes to go in the first half. Along with Billy Packer and James Brown, I'm Brett Musburger.
Here comes Coleman again. He's over here with Bennett. See if they'll swing the ball, give Bennett a shot at him again. Here he is.
Bennett off a fake coming up on Coleman. Or into Douglas's hands, and the quarterback quickly brings it down. 4-on-2, a man-power advantage. Duncan was hounded from the side by Bennett, but Coleman with an offensive rebound and the field goal.
Again, I'm really surprised that Kentucky has pushed this ball up the floor so quickly and hadn't spent a little bit more time trying to slow the pace down.
Ellis coming out off the screen. Seikaly with Locke. Here's Ellis. Rattled out.
Oh, great
Coleman again.
He can do this. Put the ball on the floor.
Brower, another block by Ellis, but into Douglas's hands.
Did a great jump stop by Douglas when he went in among the trees there. Had good balance in order to get the pass back outside. Brower's going to have a hard time getting his junk off inside with Ellis and Locke in there.
Seikaly moving to the glass again.
Eddie Sutton's got to be thinking zone. He just can't handle a big guy.
He's perfect inside, Billy. 5 for 5 against them. Syracuse leading 13-12. It's been the Rony Seikaly show here so far in the first half as far as Syracuse is concerned. Ellis fouled by Brower as he turned the corner.
Brower, of course, is caught also in a tough situation in the fact that Ellis can put the ball on the floor extremely quick, can play the wing position, so the matchups defensively for Syracuse are tough with Coleman and Brower having a hard time with Bennett and Ellis.
Bennett leaving as Cedric Jenkins, 55, the 6'9 senior from Dawson, Georgia, checking in. Sutton with a few words for Bennett as he sits down.
Richard Madison's going to be coming in for Ellis, so Locke is going to be the only guy in that front line still hanging around. Now, they may try to put Jenkins on Seikaly. Jenkins, an excellent defender, has had some big games defensively. Give Locke a little break.
Well, Leron Ellis' daddy, Leroy Ellis, played, I think, about 14 years in the NBA. There he is in the uniform of the Portland Trail Blazers.
Got to take his son back out in the backyard and work a little bit on those free throws.
He was an outstanding player for Joe Lapchick at St. John's. Played at one of those great clubs with Kevin Lockerty, Willie Hall, Ivan Kovac, Tony Jackson.
Richard Madison for his first action, with Brower now leaving for Syracuse. Thompson returning. So on the floor for Syracuse now as they come up, it's Coleman and Douglas, Duncan, Seikaly, and Thompson. Against Madison, Locke, Manuel, Jenkins, and Davender is rubbed off. Here's Seikaly again. And Madison rebounding off the miss. Seikaly's first miss of the afternoon.
You notice Locke is not getting any help either, double teaming on Seikaly. He's got him all by himself.
Now Manuel from the baseline.
Very talented freshman.
Thompson getting in low with that left-handed shot. Seikaly has it knocked away and out of bounds by Davender. Syracuse ball.
Good hands by Eddie Davender, because Seikaly was really poised to go up and hit another easy shot.
Now Rowe coming in.
This is really a game of matchups. It's like an NBA game. Who's going to have a team on the floor that matches up better with their opponent?
Out of bounds by Manuel.
And with the exception of the Seikaly matchup, Kentucky matches up beautifully with what's on the floor right now for Syracuse.
Douglas on the pull-up over Davender that time.
We noticed a little clear out there, Brent, which gave Davender no help whatsoever, figuring there was a screen on that side, and he was a little hesitant to play up tight on Douglas.
Jenkins. Coleman, lead pass. Here's Douglas. The transition game for Syracuse.
Derek Coleman again got beat by Jenkins, but he's such a great rebounder with a 2-on-1.
Davender back for the Wildcats, and Seikaly off with the miss. Left side, they wanted Rowe, and Madison hustled back. So we've got a timeout with 11:29 to go in the first half. We've had 6 lead changes. Right now, Syracuse up by 3.
Hey, sounded good. Save a few bucks, get the same quality. Then the gripes start from data processing. I got garbage all over the orders. Pittsburgh now takes all night to download delivery schedules.
AT&T gives you the fastest, most error-free data transmission.
I'm paying 32 truckers to drink coffee. This is a good deal?
AT&T's worldwide intelligent network. Because we know it's not just long distance. It's your business on the line. AT&T, the right choice.
Do you know who the best player in the game is? Me, Morris Blackman. And I'm way above the rim, demonstrating some serious hang time. Very serious. Do you know how I get up for my game? Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? That's right. Air Jordan, Air Jordan, Air Jordan. Mike, what's up? Oh, money, why you want to do that to me? Why you leave me hanging? Come on, I got it. Oh, Mike, man. That's cold, man.
Notice my hair? Mm-hmm. Neat, natural looking, totally under control. That's Consort hairspray. No wonder I attract crowds. Some people will do anything to look this good. Consort, the hairspray that puts the American male in control.
With the designed-in sound of a Delco Electronics music system, now the best seat in the house is in your GM car. Delco Electronics, it's who we are.
It is played on a course known as one of America's greatest tests of golf. The Los Angeles Open, presented by Nissan, continuing next on CBS Sports.
3 key players right here. You're going to see Jenkins put the ball on and drive into the hole. Manuel, who's playing one guard's position, and Davender, who's playing the other. Instead of coming into the basket, they're going to have to swing back defensively, as you're going to see right here. When they do not, there's no floor balance whatsoever for Kentucky. And watch how easy it is for Syracuse to merely go long. Rebound comes out. Nobody back for floor balance. There are the two guards from Kentucky. 15 feet behind the easy layup for Sherman Douglas.
Only 3 players have scored for Syracuse so far, whereas all 5 of the Kentucky starters have broken into the scoring column. And Seikaly has been the big man. That's his second miss. Foul inside on Derek Coleman.
Now, Brent, one of the things that when you play against Syracuse and you scout them, you really worry about the lob pass. You can see Locke is playing right behind Seikaly because Eddie Sutton doesn't want to give up the lob. But he's going to have to start siding him or fronting him a little bit because Seikaly's just getting the ball in such easy working position. Full court pressure by Syracuse. Back to a straight man-to-man. Move by Coleman to lay off Jenkins.
Ship it inside to Madison. He got Seikaly in the air and then came back for 2. Douglas has scored the Orangemen's last 2 field goals. There's a way by Locke, and here he comes off the dribble.
Brent, Rob Locke did exactly what he has not been doing, and that is he got up on the side of Rony Seikaly and did a great job defensively.
The lead change off that field goal. And Coleman misses. Now it's Madison into Davender's hands in a foot race. He drew the foul. He'll shoot a pair of free throws.
Rob Locke has been playing behind Rony Seikaly. That's the first time today he stepped up in front of him. Of course, he ended up with a perfect play for a center, a guy that not only knocks the ball away, but picks it up and makes the uncontested layup. But excellent defense on his part.
That's the second foul called on Sherman Douglas. He can't believe that it was assessed to him, and it was a non-shooting foul. So it came earlier in that sequence.
Sherman's still upset with the official there. He's got to get back into the game.
He's got a reason to be there.
He's got to get back in the game. They're playing the 2-3 zone.
Rock puts it down, and Seikaly rejects it. Thompson off a nice pass from Douglas.
There's Douglas showing his versatility as a passer. Instead of just throwing that lob, he just gutted that ball over. He's still looking at the official, Brent.
The pass short, push going up, but there was a push inside. The second foul on Locke. That's the 5th team foul on Kentucky. Already 6 against Syracuse, so they're in the penalty.
Brent, Locke had a lot taken out of him in terms of energy when he made that play all the way down the court, and he's very tired right now. Eddie Sutton's going to have to give him probably a couple of minute rest.
Rowe taking his first 3. Jenkins rebounded.
Locke was open. Madison didn't let him touch it.
Davender. Battle out. Coleman. That's 5 rebounds for Derek. Lob. Off Seikaly. Out of bounds.
Now there's some good coaching by Eddie Sutton. He just constantly worked on that lob pass, and so far today, Syracuse has not been able to get what is one of their major weapons. You can see Sherman Douglas looking to throw that lob to Rony Seikaly. A great job by Jenkins getting right back there with him. Really no opening at all.
Ellis has returned now for the Wildcats. He's out there with Manuel and Jenkins, Davender and Madison.
Jenkins ought to put that ball on the floor. He got by Coleman one time. He ought to try it again.
Jenkins is left alone. Gets the roll.
I think that's really the weak link right now. Jenkins to take some advantage of Coleman.
Douglas has it knocked away by Davender and then comes back with a great defensive play of his own. As he came inside, the foul was called.
Brent, Sherman Douglas made about 3 great plays right there. One, the steal, The second was the decision he made to take, now watch it. First he makes the great steal. Now watch the decision he makes. It looked like there was a pass there, but he realized it wasn't. Then he just went on through, and although the foul was committed, he would have had the third great play with a good dish inside. Quite a player. And Ellis is in foul trouble here early. That's 3 on the freshman with 8:10 to go in the first half. And that puts Sutton's bench now under the spotlight.
You want anything?
How about a light?
Whoa!
Oh, Bob, could you make that a Bud Light?
If you want the great taste of Bud Light, ask for it.
Did you see? No. Did you?
No. Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
To create new worlds, you need to see in new ways. Be curious. Look at the problem from another direction. Commit yourself to the long term. Keep your mind open. Look for breakthrough ideas. From aerospace to healthcare, we're creating new worlds by seeing in new ways. BASF, the spirit of innovation.
Or a 4x4 that'll shift the balance of power in the truck world. Toyota's all-new V6 4x4. The most advanced V6 engine in any compact truck. Unsurpassed horsepower. More low-down torque than any compact V6 4x4. New V6. Now who's looking out for number 1?
Toyota.
American Lori McNeil, the world's #1 player Steffi Graf, and many others compete in the U.S. Women's Hardcourt Championships next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Well, you mentioned the name Owens, and everyone up in Syracuse will smile broadly. There's Michael Owens, the talented running back for Coach Dick McPherson. Those of us who were there in that Penn State explosion will never forget this run. What a talented tailback the young man is. Then he's got a brother, Billy Owens. Watch him in action out of Carlisle, Pennsylvania High School. Best news Syracuse has ever received. He's eligible academically, and he'll be playing for Coach Boeheim next year.
You know, Brent, I saw an interview with him, and he said, this was before he passed that test, and a fellow asked him, what is he going to do if he doesn't pass the test? He said, I will play next year. You know, that Prop 48 is getting a lot of kids really interested in the academic side of their life as well as sports. A few years ago, a kid wouldn't have worried about it. I think it's probably a very good move by the NCAA.
Well, that's a big plus if they're thinking more about academics. Thompson across now to Duncan, who takes the 3.
Good pass. Duncan, a man who had to sit out his own last year, and Jim Boeheim feels that the Prop 48 kids that have to sit are certainly restricted to the point where it really sets back their careers for a full season when they do come back because they're really not ready to go.
Manuel moving it over to Jenkins, who's back in there. Locke has returned. Ellis out with the 3 fouls, and Locke on the turnaround. That's 6 points for the Kentucky Center. Deadlocked at 22 now at the 7-minute mark here in the first half. Fowler off the dribble, creates, but no basket. Offensive foul is called.
Now, Brower not that quick on his feet, but I thought he drew a foul there.
So here at the Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky, I'm Brent Musburger along with Billy Packer. We are tied at 22, 7-minute mark.
Locke's been in double figures 5 of his last 7 games. He's really starting to get active inside for Kentucky. To be a big boost for them on their run, not only for the SEC, but for the NCAA championship.
Here's Bennett. Quickly draws the double team and sends it back to Davender. Now he takes it back.
Notice he's got Stevie Thompson down where he'd like to have him, in that low post, trying to overpower him in there. Here he goes again.
Kentucky patient this trip.
Good.
And on the pass in, the foul is called on Thompson, his second.
A pass from one graduate student to another. Both Jenkins and Winston Bennett getting their MBAs here at the University of Kentucky. Jenkins actually graduated in 3.5 years. Of course, Winston in his 5th year.
is a summation of what we have seen here so far. Seikaly starting red hot, hit his first 5 field goals, and he has not scored since then.
Good time now if Bennett hits these free throws to press with Douglas sitting down. Duncan will have to be the main ball handler along with Coleman. We will not find out.
Go back into Seikaly, muscling his way in for the field goal.
Now what Locke has got to see, now that he's played against Seikaly for 10, 12 minutes, he's got to understand what Seikaly wants to do and try to draw the charge instead of trying to block the shot. Clear out.
Davender pulls it up at the baseline. Seikaly rebounding.
Nice job by Duncan to come back and get the ball when he realized no fast break was there.
Seikaly wanting it again. This time it was not a very good pass, and Locke was able to get a hand on it.
Jimmy Boeheim probably wondering what Brower thinks about. He is not the man that's supposed to be feeding the post.
Goes over to Syracuse. Timeout is being called here by Eddie Sutton and the Kentucky staff. Jim Boeheim will bring the Orange over too. 5:19 left in the first half.
Introducing the all-new Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. 4-wheel disc brakes, a multi-port fuel-injected V6 engine, 4-wheel independent suspension, and aerodynamic styling even the wind can't resist. In short, the new Cutlass Supreme is not your father's Oldsmobile.
What's he doing now?
He's staring at a cigar with a funny look on his face.
But it's a Dutch Masters or El Producto.
How come?
Most of theirs don't use natural leaf wrappers anymore, but Garcia Vega still does. Garcia Vega gives you the rich tobacco taste of natural leaf wrappers. Hey, maybe the dog would like to fetch this guy an honest cigar.
And now there's Garcia Vega Whiffs, another honest cigar.
He's doing it again.
Round of lights here?
Ask for Bud Light. The light beer with the first name and taste.
Let me know when you're ready for another round.
Because everything else is just a light.
Always a pleasure to have JB join us, Billy. James Brown, what's coming up at halftime?
All right, Brent, thank you very much. Coming up on the college basketball report at halftime, we'll bring you up to date on basketball action from around the country. We'll also check in with Pat Summerall, who will have a report on the final round of the LA Open. Billy Packer will have a report of profile on Temple University coach John Chaney. And we'll also introduce you to what has to be a very unique college basketball family. That and more coming up on the college basketball report. Brent?
All right, James. Billy, Coach Chaney does a marvelous job with the Temple Owls.
You know what's neat, Brennan? I know you've talked to a lot of people. It's nice to talk to some guys in sports that have such deep meaning with what they have to say. And I find John Chaney a man that you really want to listen to. He has a lot of quality things to say about life.
I'm really happy about the performance of his team. They appear headed for a top seed in the East. Turnover by Syracuse now. Here at Syracuse 24, Kentucky 22. We're inside of 5 minutes in the first half.
Seikaly that time was looking to make a play before he caught the ball. You see that in so many sports.
Jenkins out there with Bennett. Davender now with the ball. Manuel and Locke on the floor for Eddie Sutton's Kentucky Wildcats.
Syracuse doing a pretty good job in a man-to-man. Brennan cuts through. Coleman's not there, but they don't get him the ball.
coach criticized the Wildcats' lack of patience earlier this week. Against LSU, they played a flawless game, and here today, they're trying to do their best as Seikaly draws his first foul of the game.
Locke is keeping Seikaly occupied, which is a great thing when you've got a big man that's scoring well on one end of the court. Make him work on defense. Throw him off track. No rest in there at all for Ron Seikaly. That last series of plays, Kentucky was trying to rub Winston Bennett off Locke inside, and they had it a couple of times. They just didn't deliver the ball in time.
The leader, Douglas, is back for Coach Boeheim. Rowe and Seikaly will sit down as Thompson checks in, too. We have watched Rony Seikaly, Billy, improve through the years, and Rob Locke here at the free throw line. And the senior from Reedley, California, he is certainly a much better basketball player than he was a couple years ago.
He's improved his foul shooting percentage almost 30 percentage points in 1 year. A lot of concentration and hard work there. He always had the technique.
Duncan and Douglas, Thompson, Brower is on the floor with Coleman. As Locke reaches over, he fouls Brower. And that's his third, and that was a foolish foul.
Yes, it was. He's got Seikaly out of the ball game. He knows Brower is so far away from the basket that he's not going to be effective from out there. He had no business reaching over on that foul.
Madison in for Kentucky, and Locke will sit. That's two players with 3 personal fouls here in the first half now for Coach Sutton, Ellis and Locke.
When Eddie reviews this tape, he'll say, why did I have him out there in the first place? You figure he was worn down a little bit. He had 2 fouls. Syracuse is playing with their small team with Seikaly out of there right now, so he can match up very well with a guy like Jenkins on Brower. And Madison playing Brower, maybe moving Jenkins on over to play Coleman. So one of those substitution moves that just didn't make in time. There's history. Brower hitting 2. That makes up for the pass he threw away.
Syracuse leading Kentucky by 3.
A big overplay.
And Thompson jumped back into that passing line. And Manuel touched it, so it'll go over to Syracuse.
Now that's why you need 3 referees to handle a basketball game. 2 referees never would have been in position to call that play. Excellent call. Nice piece of work. Davender's a fine defender. He's given Douglas as much trouble as anybody I've seen this year.
Foul on Bennett, who jumped in front of Thompson. Winston doesn't agree with that call, but he picks up his second. There was a little rain delay out there at the Riviera in Los Angeles. That's certainly unusual, but they're back playing, and we'll have an update at halftime on that. Chip Beck in the lead after 3 rounds at 14 under par.
Old Wake Forest comes through again. Jay Haas on a tear so far. He and Lanny both had a 3 wins.
I didn't mean to interrupt your...
well, I'm just trying to give a plug for
paying your alumni dues.
That's right.
There.
That's right. Well, you know, last year, Wake Forest alumnus won 25% of the purse on the PGA Tour. How's that? Is that wrong? Yeah. If it's not right, I'm going to say that anyway, but I believe that's true.
Didn't include much Arnold Palmer either.
Well, yeah, he did all right on the seniors.
Ah, of course.
Well, I'll tell you, Brower and Stevie Thompson hitting from the foul line is something Jim Boeheim hasn't seen all year. Syracuse starting to get on that 5-point lead, making us a little restless here. Syracuse is overplaying every pass, so if Kentucky can get some backdoor movement. Davender. New York City move there. Now Douglas tries to give it back to him. Oh, what a screen.
Great screen. Couldn't hit it. And a foul inside. Madison.
Now, what's really nice, we'll see the screen coming right up here on Eddie down. Then he takes the lick. And as this foul was called, Coleman went over to see if he was okay. Nice piece of sportsmanship. Derek Coleman says, in the Big East, everybody is good sports until they go up against the Hoyas. That's coming out of his mouth.
Brower runs it down.
Syracuse, even without Seikaly, getting a lot of opportunities.
Coleman. He's a big-time player, isn't he?
Yep, and he's left-handed. You think Jenkins would be over on that side.
There are 3 left-handers on the floor for Syracuse right now. Thompson, Brower, and Coleman, the entire front line.
Syracuse just overplaying every pass.
Holding a 5-point lead right now, and Cavender cuts it to 3. That's 9 points for the Wildcats point guard off his foot out of bounds.
Sherman Douglas can really see the floor. He had Stevie Thompson cutting a good 40 feet away and was going to fire that bounce pass through.
Seikaly replacing Brower for the last 2 minutes of the first half.
Now it is Jenkins going to be on Seikaly. He's going to have his hands full down low.
Duncan wanted Seikaly, but he traveled before he passed the ball. Matt Rowe in. And Hansen, for the first time, will play for the Wildcats.
You notice Rowe has not scored today with this tight man-to-man defense. He's only been able to get off 1 shot. Syracuse goes back to the 2-3 zone.
So Reggie Hansen, still another freshman out of Somerset, Kentucky. Number 35, handling the ball right now, and sees his first action.
Early in the year, you'd have thought that Derek Miller would be the guy to come in these situations, but he just hadn't been able to hit from the outside.
Cavender running down the missed 3, and Boeheim lecturing Rowe that he should have picked up that long rebound.
Very low-scoring game considering how frantic the pace has been. Really fits into Kentucky's way of thinking a little better than Syracuse's game in the 60s or 70s.
Bennett, the 3. Winston Bennett.
Syracuse ought to go for 1. They're going to spread it out, little 4-corner type action.
Now it's Seikaly in low, and Jenkins staying with him, but he fouled him.
Rony Seikaly was kind of caught not realizing what to do. He had the position he wanted, but he realized that Jim Boeheim wanted to hold it for the last shot. He had no passing lane, so he just got frustrated. You can see him just turn and roll inside. Good pump fake. Jenkins gets just a little piece of the arm.
Half-minute left in the first half, and Seikaly can break the tie.
This club shooting 60% on the year. You know, we've seen enough major tournament games to know that eventually will cost them.
And they go 0 for 2 that trip, but Coleman with another rebound gets it inside to Thompson.
Get it
back
out
to Derrick. Rebound Kentucky. They can take a halftime lead. It's last shot time, and Davender now will bring the time down.
There was a case where Derek Coleman should have got that ball back out in the hands of Sherman Douglas, with Syracuse having the last shot at the 2-point.
Bennett couldn't get the handle. Douglas races the clock. He beat it. Sherman Douglas racing the clock with 3.5 seconds to go. Drives in for the layup
it puts Syracuse into the lead, 32-30.
Just bad ball handling there. The ball gets down in the corner. Douglas does a great thing when he looked up at the clock. Brent, you saw him as I did. He is a smart player.
So they miss Rex Chapman certainly on that last trip as Winston Bennett has to go out on top, and he's unsuccessful. We come to the end of the first half. Syracuse 32, Kentucky 30. James Brown returns to the college basketball report after this message and a word from your local stations.
CBS Sports presents college basketball. Today's game is sponsored by Volkswagen. Experience German engineering the Volkswagen way.
The new Volkswagen Fox is a lot of car for the money. For instance, a powerful 1.8-liter fuel-injected engine is standard. So are power front disc brakes, rack and pinion steering, and four-wheel independent suspension. Now, we could have done what some did. Cut the standard features and offered less car for less money. But we'd never pull a stunt like that. That isn't the Volkswagen way. 1988 Fox, only $62.90.
Once every 4 years, something happens in this country. Once every 4 years, the Olympics come to America. And once every 4 years, we all come together. Budweiser is proud to help bring the Olympics to America. Good picture. And Americans closer together.
The Blue Bloods of Kentucky showed her that winning wasn't everything. It was the only thing. Sunday, Wayne Rogers and Cheryl Ladd star in Bluegrass.
This is CBS.
Automotive performance comes in many styles. High-Tech Tire knows whatever you drive, you want just one thing: performance you can count on. That's why High-Tech Tire carries quality Firestone radials and car care to keep you moving. Service that's quick and affordable. This month at High-Tech Tire, buy 4 Firestone Supremes and get a free front-end alignment. The Supreme is Firestone's top-of-the-line steel-belted radial with traction in rain and snow. For Firestone quality and dependable car care, see High-Tech Tire and get performance at any speed.
When you're rocking down the highway, keep your engine rolling with high-performance Valvoline motor oil. The convenient way to get Valvoline in your car is to rock on down to your neighborhood instant oil change. They'll change your oil and oil filter using quality Valvoline, plus perform a 10-point maintenance check, all in only 10 minutes. For fast, convenient service, rock on down to your neighborhood instant oil change.
Here at Rupp Arena, and we've got a good one as the Wildcats trail the Orangemen by 2, 32-30. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm James Brown, and welcome to the College Basketball Report here on CBS. First up on the agenda, an Olympic update, a surprising performance by the U.S. men's bobsled team. Although the Swiss won it, the U.S. men's team finished 2/100ths of a second out of a medal position. That was their best finish in 32 years. In college basketball, only one game to report on. The 9th-ranked Carolina Tar Heels are leading Clemson 39-20 that game in the second half. While in NBA action today, in a game that many of you saw right here on CBS, the Detroit Pistons, with a strong second-half performance, defeated the Boston Celtics 106-101. The Pistons stay on top of the NBA's Central Division. Well, flying high at the top of the college ranks right now are the Temple Owls. That team will be in action this afternoon hosting West Virginia. Guiding that team to unprecedented heights are John Chaney, the head coach, and Billy Packer reports that his basketball philosophy is really his philosophy on life.
You have to move to your own drumbeat, and you have to establish that very early in life. We work extremely hard on developing an overall approach to how you're going to live together. What value system are you going to internalize? If you want to be successful, you better learn how to live and learn with a lot of different people.
John Chaney had learned enough to become the best high school player in Philadelphia, but still no school would offer him a scholarship.
I didn't think about that. I just thought that my talent was going to take me as far, like every young guy, as far as I could go. And I was very spirited and I'll get it done.
And so I just turned the page and just went on. I didn't think about it. But today, as I look back at it, I probably would have felt pretty hurt by it. But I don't feel that way now. I've just been very lucky because I've gotten an opportunity.
As a youth, Cheney was denied the opportunity to attend Temple. His appointment as coach was not only ironic, but also controversial.
Whether it was because I was black, I don't know. I would hope not.
The easiest decision I think we have ever had in 6 years of this presidency has been in selecting Coach John Cheney.
Cheney has vindicated the administration's faith in him. His top-ranked Owls are poised to conquer March Madness.
If you're chosen in that 64, you're successful. As a coach, that should be a guideline. But all your prayers, all your dreams should be that we get to the Final Four and then we win that championship.
Fittingly, the Owls practice before dawn, develop discipline and togetherness.
Coach Cheney, he's the father figure on the players. He lets you know that he will be there if you need him for him. You know, you can talk to him about things outside of basketball, but he's the type of coach that you know he will be there, good or bad.
Success has but a small door, and to get us all through it, we got to find a way to pull ourselves together to get through that door together. You don't have to like each other, but you got to find a way to love each other.
Just a footnote to that John Cheney story. The Temple University president is so impressed with John Cheney that he regularly attends some of his practice sessions just to watch Cheney work out. No word as to whether or not those practice sessions are of the early morning variety. When we come back on the College Basketball Report, we'll check in with Pat Summerall on the LA Open, as well as introduce you to a unique basketball family.
Gee, Ollie, this windshield's so messy, I can't see. We need new wiper blades.
I know that.
Make sure your windshield wipers work when you need them. Get a new set of Anco blades at least once a year and see what you've been missing.
Ollie, without new Anco wipers, we could have been hit by that piano. Oh. Piano?
Volkswagen engineers believe our 16-valve engines should not only provide an abundance of power, but be accompanied by the technology to control it. And that's a belief from which our engineers never walk away. German engineering, the Volkswagen way.
I'm State Farm Agent Stan Griffin. Just talked to two of my car insurance policy holders, Bob and Doris Rhodes. They're off on another trip. For so-called retired folks, they sure get around. And they get a real feeling of security, seeing all those State Farm offices just about anywhere they drive. If they should ever run into trouble, they know a State Farm agent is there to help them get back on the road again.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your new car. Thanks. It's got loads of power and really holds the road. You need all that performance? No, but it's nice to know it's there. You really have to take care of a car like this. A car like this is supposed to take care of you. That's why I bought Michelin's.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
2 of the nation's toughest conferences, 4 of the nation's best teams, Michigan, Purdue, a battle of the Big Ten's big guns, Pittsburgh, Syracuse. The powers of the Big East collide next weekend on the home of the NCAA Championship.
Halftime here in Lexington, where Syracuse is nursing a 2-point lead. Following today's Kentucky-Syracuse game, we'll go live to L.A. for the final round coverage of the Open. Let's check in with Pat Summerall.
Well, we hope that final round coverage materializes. The ominous clouds you can see overhead. It rained almost all night. The golf course maintenance people have done a yeoman-like job of trying to get things back so they can play again. There's been one 55-minute rain delay already. we're in the middle of another one. I hope it's the middle. No one really knows. Earlier in the players' locker room, the leader and one of his pursuers and their comments.
This is Tomba of the American Tour.
You know, it has 4 years of your life. You do your triple axel in 2 minutes out there. You know, we think tour school's big, and you got 6 rounds in a year.
For what?
Flight.
Okay, great. We're headed out. Let's do it. Y'all have a good one.
And so they did. And it was almost like they couldn't believe that they were going to try to play again. Chip Beck, from whom you just heard, 14 under par with a 3-stroke lead over Steve Elkington, Ed Fiore, and Jay Haas. They made it through 1 hole, and then the rains came again, and they had to come back. And right now we're in a holding pattern. No one seems to know what's going to happen. We hope we'll bring you the final round of the Los Angeles Open. Now, let's go back to the basketball, and here again is James Brown.
All right, thank you very much, Pat. Now, turning our attention back to basketball, out at North Park College in Chicago, there's a story we'd like to share with you that gives new meaning to the term basketball family. It's not unusual to find Bosco Jerikovich at home watching 8-month-old Amanda while his wife Rebecca is at work.
Deb, don't cheat on that. We're playing defense on her. Get all the way over on her. Play straight up.
She's the women's basketball coach at North Park College, one of the top teams in Division III play.
Okay.
She is very intense in her own way. She's a quiet girl. She's a very good teacher of the game, and she enjoys coaching very, very much.
By 4:30, it's time for Mom to take over and for Dad to go to work.
Bye, Dad.
Yes, he's the men's coach at North Park, and yes, fatherhood has had its effect on Bosco.
There's one thing that is a little bit important, but not, you know, the most important. He'd rather come home and spend time with our daughter, Amanda, which is very surprising.
It is difficult from time to time because I don't know what to expect, and there are times when the baby does things that I'm not familiar with that I tend to panic a little bit.
There's certainly been no panic in Bosco's basketball program. He's won 2 national titles in the last 3 years, but Amanda is his top recruit this season.
She's really the apple of Dad's eye. There's not a time goes by that I don't enjoy that I spend with my little girl.
Boy, Pops is going to have to learn how to aim a little better with that bottle. By the way, the Lady Vikings are already in the NCAA Division III tournament, while the men will find out sometime this afternoon. That wraps up this edition of the College Basketball Report. Brent and Pack, make that Brent and Billy Packer will rejoin you after this message and a word from your local station.
Of all the cars that come out each year, only one can be the Motor Trend Car of the Year. For 1988, that one is this one, the hot new Pontiac Grand Prix. Get on the Pontiac and ride! The new Grand Prix, Motor Trend's Car of the Year. You've got to drive it. Get on the Pontiac! Rebuild excitement!
You're looking down the barrel of the biggest news in beer since they put it in cans. Say hello to new Extra Gold Draft. A full tilt taste with something extra that only one great draft beer can deliver. If you like to drink beer, I mean really like to drink beer, this one's going to turn your head around. The name is Extra Gold Draft. The biggest taste that's happened to beer since they put it in cans.
Live from New York, who will win Best Female Pop Vocal? Whitney Houston, Carly Simon.
This is CBS.
I got involved in a highway wreck, had headaches bad and a pain in my neck, and I said to myself, somebody's gonna pay. Well, my x-rays showed a hairline crack, and that insurance adjuster never did come back, so I told my wife, I'm gonna call the man today. Call the man. Melbourne Mills Jr. Attorney, 873-8714. Melbourne Mills Jr., 873-8714.
Recruiting talented young basketball players is serious business. When I'm on the phone long distance with a new recruit, I depend on TMC to make sure my message is loud and clear. TMC gets the job done for less money than any other long distance company. But that's only part of it. TMC is right here in Lexington. If you have a problem, they'll stop what they're doing and straighten it out. Local hometown service. I like that, and I like TMC.
CBS Sports presents college basketball. Today's game is sponsored by Express Mail Overnight Service. Gillette Good News Plus with a Lubra Smooth Strip for extra comfort. And by Ryder. We're there at every turn.
It was one of the great rivalries in the history of thoroughbred racing. 1978, the firm wins the Triple Crown, conquering Alydar. Who will ever forget that Belmont when they came thundering down the stretch, only a nose apart, and now standing stud outside Lexington. Alydar has surpassed the firm, we might add, but you were pointing out that Kentucky basketball fans will never forget 78 either, Mr.
78, won the national championship. The man who coached the team sits right behind us, giving those words of wisdom. And, of course, I saw Rick Roby walk by here a few minutes ago, was one of the outstanding players in that club.
Hey, Billy, talking about the statistics of the first half, what stands out, how about the number of turnovers for these two teams?
Really surprises me, and the fact that I think it's been more defense than anything else, but some fellas trying to make plays that aren't there. Derek Brower, for instance, and you very seldom see Sherman Douglas in a half with more turnovers than assists.
Rony Seikaly enjoyed a big half, especially in the early moments, Billy.
Well, Kentucky started out straight man-to-man. Seikaly loved to see it. Locke was playing down behind him. He was caught in the low post position, and Seikaly was really able to take advantage of it early on.
You know, we talk about Syracuse's problems at the free throw line. Well, here today, Kentucky didn't shoot so well.
Yeah, they haven't been going to the line with their normal fellas, and you got to remember, with Chapman out of the ball game, their offensive structures changed a great deal.
And the two-point guards, you can see the matchup between Douglas out of Washington and Davender from Brooklyn, New York. Davender has outscored him. Douglas with one more assist. And, of course, that big steal and field goal that puts Syracuse ahead as we prepare to start in the second half. Those of you in Syracuse who've just joined us, don't adjust the color. The Orangemen are wearing blue here this afternoon. Leading it by 2. The Big East against the Southeastern Conference.
You know, a club we ought to really be enjoying this ball game is Seton Hall, but they're starting to come on strong. And you talk about a Big East conference that if Syracuse were to win this game, maybe able to go 6 deep. So a lot riding.
Eddie Sutton, Billy, elects to come back with his starting lineup. The freshman Ellis playing with 3 fouls. Locke back at center. He also has 3. A very patient attack. They bring the shot clock down inside of 10 seconds now. And Bennett coming through a screen, misses. Locke goes after the offensive rebound, and it is hit by Syracuse, Kentucky's ball.
There is a case where Syracuse, when they play this 2-3 zone, Stevie Thompson is awful small on that back line. Locke able to take advantage of it.
Manuel has not contributed much offensively.
Well, he's been playing the wing. Today he's been forced to go to the back court, so maybe he just hadn't made that adjustment yet.
He moves the ball to Bennett. Quick pass to Ellis off the fake. And Ellis drives for the layup. He was only 1 of 5 in the first half, but he had good scoring opportunities, and here he comes back in the early moments in the second half to tie the score. That's our 5th tie of this game.
Ellis is comfortable playing out there 15 feet from the basket. He probably is going to be a wing player.
Now Douglas goes to his act. Davender sticks with him, and he has to ship it back to Coleman. He draws the foul. Ellis on the inside was the defensive player, and that is the 4th personal on the freshman. A big moment here in the early seconds of the second half.
You know, what set that up was just an incredible pass by Douglas. How he ever found the opening between the Kentucky players to get that ball to Coleman, I'll never know.
Ellis leaves, and Richard Madison, 42, checks in for Sutton. That's 6 points for Coleman, along with his 7 rebounds.
Syracuse now up to 60% from that free throw line. Derek Coleman could be a very good free throw shooter. He's got great rotation on the shot. Just has to learn to stay with it.
Seikaly switching off on Bennett. Had him well covered that time.
Fred, you pointed out Manuel hasn't really gotten involved with the offense. You notice how often he catches the ball and doesn't look at the basket. He merely looks for the offensive flow. And to be a threat, you've got to take that look up at the basket.
Regained it. Easy. Oh, and Madison lost the handle. Seikaly comes back.
And Eddie Sutton is livid, and he's going to yank him out right now.
An easy scoring opportunity for Madison, and he simply lost the handle on the gimmick.
What made Eddie Sutton so mad is all he had to do is lay that up on the board.
Seikaly rams into, it's a 4-point swing off that miss by Madison.
The case there was Locke tried to front Seikaly. First time today Syracuse has been able to go ahead and throw that lob over their head. With no help on the weak side behind them.
Locke steps way out high. Rowe taking manual. Missing someone like Rex Chapman here at Natalie in the early minutes. Davender against the double team, and Seikaly off with the miss.
You know, you felt that mentally Eddie Davender missed him there because he just felt that nobody else wanted to put the shot up.
Exactly. Seikaly wants it. Bangs off of him. Had lost the ball. Sherman Douglas.
Quick hands. Eddie Sutton may have to go timeout here. It's a pretty good run by Syracuse. And you felt the last time down the floor, Kentucky was unsure of themselves offensively. Let's see if Sutton's going to call one. He's going to call official. That's what he's going to do.
First things first.
Yeah, I think they're a little confused offensively right now. Davender can take Rowe.
Oh, ships it to Manuel, and a three-point opportunity for the freshman.
Brent, on that particular play, Sherman Douglas realized Rowe was matched up on Davender. He wanted to go back and pick up Davender. When he did, now watch what happens. Davender is caught right here with Rowe. Douglas realized, and he's ready to make the switch. You can see he's ready to make the switch. He had no business leaving his man, who happened to be Manuel, wide open under the basket. Really Sherman Douglas's fault.
Duncan in. Jenkins checked in here. Short on the free throw. Coleman, 8th rebound.
Kentucky continues to suffer from that free throw line, which has been one of the real assets they've had this year.
Seikaly goes in deep to Coleman. Coleman keeps it alive. That great reach of his. And the injured guard, Rex Chapman, watching, and don't be surprised if he doesn't play Wednesday night. Non-conference game, Sutton electing to keep him out. Off Locke's hand, Manuel ships it back to Locke.
Nice teamwork. Wasn't pretty, but everybody had the right thing in mind.
Douglas off the fake, throws it up high, and the foul is called.
Winston Bennett didn't get there in time. Douglas loves to throw up that kind of running one-hander when he goes the baseline.
3 on Bennett. Timeout. Here at the 15:24 mark. Syracuse leading by 4, and the natives are a little restless about the officiating.
What you doing?
Hi, garage sale.
Garage sale? My lucky hat.
Moving means making lots of decisions. That's why Ryder helps you with our free Move It Yourself guide.
This came all the way from Hawaii.
Yeah, well, maybe a Hawaiian will buy it.
It helps you handle everything, from picking the best truck, to packing your china, to planning your expenses.
It's going to be worth a lot of money, sweetie. What do you think?
Honey, can we talk about this?
Ryder. We're there at every turn.
How to shave a giant. Avoid big trouble. Use the Gillette Good News Plus disposable. It's got the Lubra-Smooth strip, so the comfortable shave for a giant is
this little guy.
Good News Plus from Gillette.
Now, everywhere in the world you can dial direct.
You can dial direct with MCI. Everywhere.
Waka?
Until you call, you'll never know how much better a long-distance company can be.
Great rewards always come from giving it your best. That's understood around the world. And at your local True Value hardware store, where you'll find their exclusive lineup of rugged Master Mechanic power tools. Rely on Master Mechanic power tools to help you tackle the toughest do-it-yourself projects and come back for more. And make True Value hardware your store of first choice.
While you were away, referee Jody Sylvester and Coach Eddie Sutton went nose-to-nose on the sideline. Billy, what was Jody upset about?
Well, a referee doesn't mind hearing from a head coach. Now, he's not supposed to be talking to him this year. But what happened is some of the assistant coaches at Kentucky started to get their opinion in, and Jody just wasn't going to put up with that at all, and I don't blame him. So he went over and made that opinion well known on that Kentucky bench.
He's working this game with Mickey Crowley and Gene Manji.
I think they've worked an excellent basketball game. I don't know why the fans are on their case. And what Boeheim was concerned about, he thought they weren't giving Douglas 2 shots.
Now the second one for the Syracuse coach. Made it as a walk-on and became a teammate of the great Dave Ming and was a co-captain of Syracuse as a player his senior year.
I've been involved with that program now for 25 years as a player, assistant coach, and head coach.
Carolina not turning the ball over the way they did against the Temple Owls today, huh?
Not playing the same kind of opponent.
Gets it into Jenkins' hands. The Wildcats find themselves down by 6 here in the early going.
Syracuse using that zone to change things around. Put Coleman over on the other side of the court. Gives him a little bit of rebounding over there. You can see how Kentucky really misses Chapman offensively. They're not sure who's going to put up the shots.
It is locked this time from the baseline. Coleman off with the rebound into the hands of the team leader. Sherman Douglas on the pull-up. One of the most underrated basketball players in America, Sherman Douglas.
Now, we're not going to see Rex Chapman today, I don't think. But Eddie Sutton in the next minute or so has got to figure out a way to attack this zone with somebody that will take a shot.
Nobody wasn't even looking.
Right, they're not looking at the hoop. Against the zone, you've got to look at that basket to keep the defense honest and then also to put your shot up. Down to 14 seconds.
Jenkins off the fake.
And that 2-3 zone really vulnerable in the center as far as getting the ball down there.
Comes across the timeline. In deep to Seikaly off the lob. They burn him for the first time today.
Brett, I don't think that should be, that is a legal play. I think that ball was in the cylinder when he caught it. It's never called. And, of course, nobody does it better than Douglas. But I think that Seikaly was touching that ball in the cylinder.
Davender. Foul called underneath against Seikaly. His second.
Now watch this alley-oop pass. We might not have the perfect angle for it. Here goes the ball up. There's no doubt in my mind. See, that ball would have gone right into the basket, and he's in contact with the ball when the ball is in the cylinder. No basket.
Bennett. Seikaly rebounding. You've got to like this Syracuse team as we approach the NCAA tournament. Short. Now it's Davender in the footwork. 2-on-2, and Douglas quickly comes back on him.
We're seeing a great matchup between these two outstanding guards. Matter of fact, Davender, probably underrated as a defender. He sits right in there with Jerry Grant, in my mind, ability to go out and really play somebody in the backcourt. There's the opening.
Jenkins sends it back, and Manuel misses, and Locke with an offensive putback. That's 11 points for Rob Locke. This is Duncan, 14. A spinner. And Seikaly had it knocked away and out of bounds. Syracuse ball. course, at the end of today's game, Billy and I will select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team, and Chevrolet will donate a $1,000 scholarship to the general scholarship fund of each school.
Notice Jimmy Boeheim had to take Stevie Thompson out. He cannot play that 2-3 zone against a big team with Thompson on that back line. So Brower comes in, give him a little bit more power inside.
Seikaly powers in, short, offensive putback.
It's good. Well, he and Coleman have great two-handed rebounding strength.
It's an 8-point Syracuse lead with Seikaly moving up to the free throw line.
Mike Scott, the transfer from Wake Forest, coming into the ball game. He's trying to get a body in there big enough to stop these two fellas inside.
Mike Scott's first action today. Now it's a 9-point Syracuse lead.
Rex Chapman standing up on that bench. He's looking around. Obviously, if this was a major conference game, he'd be playing, but probably a smart move to hold him out of there. Good help by Duncan. Red zone's a lot bigger now. You see with Brower in that back line.
It might not be stretching it too far to say that as many as 6 Big East teams can wind up in the field of 64 this year. Seton Hall playing very impressively. Bennett left alone.
That was Rony Seikaly left home on that one, Brent. They had the double team in the corner. He went over to create a triple team against a man that doesn't play.
In behind the defender, but the pass too high by Coleman and Davender. Fouled by Duncan. You get the feeling sometimes that Davender would like to get into an up-tempo game against Douglas.
I think he's certainly capable of doing that, and I think both of these guys taking it as an individual challenge today against each other.
Well, we've got a TV timeout, Billy. We've got a 49-42 score. A lot of time. 11-16. We'll be right back.
Ever since your post office invented express mail overnight delivery, others have tried to copy our eagle, but it's not so easy. You see, express mail overnight reliability is close to perfect with the most convenient locations and prices as low as $10.75. About half what most others charge. So we're pretty hard to imitate. So use the original express mail service from your post office.
Trust your car's performance to luck, and someday it just may bite the hand that doesn't feed it. Give your car the good life with STP gas treatment.
How to shave a giant. Avoid big trouble. Use the Gillette Good News Plus disposable. It's got the Lubra-Smooth strip, so the comfortable shave for a giant is
this little guy.
Good News Plus from Gillette.
Wake up, everybody. It's snow, snow, and more snow.
When you're feeling a little under the weather, reach for America's favorite cold remedy, Chevy's S10 Blazer 4x4 with its patented Instatrack system and newly available 4.3-liter Vortec V6, the biggest engine in its class. Chevy S10 Blazer, America's favorite cold remedy, America's favorite sport utility vehicle.
The top guns of the Western Conference. The Lakers. The Mavericks. The best in the West shoot it out next Sunday.
Here you see Syracuse in their 2-3 zone defense. The ball is going to go to the corner as Mike Scott pulls out. The double team will take place. Rony Seikaly has got to stay at home. When he doesn't stay at home, everybody rotates, and watch how Manuel gets wide open under the basket. Ball goes to the corner. Double team takes place. Seikaly, for some reason, goes over to help out. Nobody back at home. Derek Coleman not there either. Kentucky gets an easy layup.
So from the Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky, the Wildcats inbound the ball wearing their home white. against the traveling new blue uniforms of the Syracuse Orangemen. Syracuse, the Big East, leading the Wildcats 49-42. Manuel with a shot blocked by Coleman. Jenkins gets it back. Running hook misses. Block battles back into Jenkins' hands. And it's stolen by Douglas. Douglas comes out for the Orangemen. And here's Seikaly's pass to Coleman. But he traveled.
Well, there's a case, a fast break that doesn't get well organized. Douglas, instead of taking the ball to the middle and allowing Seikaly to come behind him, gets Seikaly in the middle. Look at this steal. Sherman Douglas just pulls it right away and takes it on down.
10:45, Billy, a 7-point lead. What do you think Sutton might do here to find a score?
Well, what I think he's got to do is really start punching his ball down in the center of that 3-2 zone and then start working baseline a little bit.
Well, there's the center, and they went to Jenkins, but he traveled.
He really's got some problems because there's not a creative scorer other than Davender out there on the floor. So they really miss Rex Chapman.
Rowe returns for the Orangemen.
And here comes a guy that was the designated shooter earlier in the year, Derek Miller. Now this kid is under a lot of pressure to hit some of these shots, but he's certainly capable. He has a great outside jump shot. This may be the day that he breaks out of it. This may be the day that he'll have to break out of it.
Eddie's tried everyone except his son.
He's sitting back in their own zone. Trying to help out inside for Seikaly. Matt Rowe happy to finally see a zone where he can get a shot on.
Thompson.
There he is. Let's say Rowe gets a jump shot off here.
There it is. Missing the home run. Bennett rebounding. See if Miller elects to try and break into that scoring column right away.
I think he should try to get into the game a little bit. That's what he's done so much, is come right out and try to put up the jumper. See, the fans are cheering every time he touches it. He's got to get in the flow of the game a little bit.
Davender keeps giving it to him, and Coleman jumping out defensively on that wing. Locke was open briefly underneath. Davender's three, not there, and Coleman goes after it. Quickly to Douglas. Here's Rowe's three. Underneath, there was a foul on Seikaly, his third.
You know, Rowe away from home has not hit that three with the exception of Pittsburgh game. He's just much more comfortable playing up there in the dome.
And Boeheim will return Duncan to the Syracuse lineup with Rowe coming back out.
And what Miller ought to realize is that the side of the floor he should try to go on is the side where Stevie Douglas is, not over there with Coleman, because Coleman can come out and put his hand up against this jump shot. So he should come over here to the left-hand side of the court.
Yeah, Thompson's down number 32 over here on the left.
See, here he comes on the swing. Right.
The three missing, and Coleman with still another rebound. 12 for the game. Douglas's pull-up. Into the hands of Jenkins, off the fake. Here's Davender. Duncan back alertly on defense. The drive is not there. Miller tried to tap it in, and Coleman off with still another rebound. Puts it down on the floor. Crowd wanted a foul call on Derek as he dribbled out. Thompson, and he's fouled by Jenkins. He'll shoot a pair of free throws on that one. That's 4 on Jenkins.
Give Derek Coleman a great deal of credit, not only the physical play that he made, but when he realized by looking down court that Locke was still down there, he realized that Kentucky was short underneath and really got that bounce pass in there nicely. Smart play. Derek Coleman's a lot different person than you'd think he is, but you know, he looks like he'd be a rough, tough kid, and he plays hard-nosed, but he's got a lot of smarts to him. It's a very interesting kid.
He's always very pleasant, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He is. Off the court, he's a very, very pleasant guy. On the court, he's tough.
Seikaly reaching in, commits foul number 4.
A lot of time left in this one.
Boeheim sends Brower in to replace him at the 8:30 mark.
Now we may see what Derek Coleman can do offensively, because with Seikaly out of there, some of those inside points are going to have to come from Coleman.
And Ellis returned with those 4 fouls. So Locke with 3. He's out there with Ellis right now. Winston Bennett with the 3. Davender and Manuel bring it to the attack. Brower in the middle of his own for Syracuse.
I think Kentucky can really get some offensive rebounds against the team Syracuse has out there now.
Bennett missing the jumper, knocked away from Douglas. Coleman comes up with it. Thompson's on his right. And a great steal by Manuel, but Coleman gets it back.
And handed it off to no one. He was going for the hoop. You know what? He was embarrassed. He loves to dribble in practice, and he put that one between his legs and got it stolen. So he was making up for a little something there.
9-point lead now. A little daylight for the Orange men. Bennett's jump shot. Thompson traveled.
And Jimmy Boeheim wanting him to go to the high post half-court offense, not throw the ball the length of the floor.
And we'll continue after this word for your local station.
This is CBS.
If you were thinking about changing the tires on your car, here's something to consider. Every Bridgestone tire you buy comes with something built in. Performance. If it moves, we can handle it. Bridgestone radials at 200 miles per hour or 65.
S&S Tire and Auto Service Centers. The warehouse at Dalton Mill Direct Carpet is overflowing, and there's only one solution. Sell it all, wall to wall, at $9.99 a yard. 60-ounce carpet that retailed for $30 a yard, now $9.99. And it all goes at Dalton Mill Direct. Vinyl starts at $2.99, remnants $3.99. Shop the largest carpet selection in this area. Price it over there, you'll buy it over here. Dalton Mill Direct Carpet has the best prices in the Smoky Mountains, bar none.
CBS Sports presents basketball. Today's game is sponsored by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. Mr. Goodwrench. No one knows your GM car better than Mr. Goodwrench. No one. And by MCI. Let us show you how good a long-distance company can be.
Rupp Arena, Lexington, Kentucky. And for Billy Packer and me, and I guess everybody who loves college basketball, there was a night here no one will ever forget. Villanova and Georgetown playing for the championship.
The underdogs, lights, cameras, Georgetown, Villanova. Perfect shooting, Villanova championship.
It comes inbounds, and that's it. It's 66-64. Villanova upsets the Hoyas of Georgetown, and Villanova wins the NCAA championship.
All they shot that night here in Rupp Arena was 78%. Harold Jensen was perfect, 5 for 5 from the floor. One of the greatest upsets in the history of any sport. Davender's 3. Brower rebounding. It's 51-44. Douglas running the floor for Jim Boeheim, and he is fouled.
One of the things that helps anybody that really can run the fast break well, the David Rivers type, the Sherman Douglas, is when they come down the floor with the dribble, they never have to worry about where the ball is. It merely is an extension of their hand, and they see the full court. They know what's behind them, what's on the wings, and that time Sherman Douglas was able to take it all the way on in there. Kind of a flat shot off the palm of his hand. Gets a lot of palm on his shot.
Bennett's hands. Syracuse missed its last 4 free throws, still leading by 7 at the 7-minute mark. Kentucky searching for a score, if you will, someone to create some offense here. Without Rex Chapman, unable to play because of that injured lower back. May return as early as Wednesday night. Bennett will try to pick up the slack. That's 2 jumpers from that spot that he's buried, pulling the Wildcats back to within 5. Crowd trying to help out here in the Rupp Arena. Duncan dribbling off the screen, and it's an offensive foul call against Duncan, giving Syracuse coach Jim Boeheim the opportunity to reinsert Rony Seikaly, even though he's playing with 4 personal fouls. Boeheim will come back with Seikaly right now at the 6:30 mark.
Brent, what I think happened to Syracuse there is with Seikaly out, they didn't stay in their offense. Everybody started to go on a 1-and-1 tear. Seikaly back in the low post will give them a place to throw that ball.
So it's been Bennett from inside that spot who has provided a couple of field goals. Now he's deep in the corner. Davender off the penetration comes up, and he's fouled, and he gets the bounce. A 3-point opportunity. Kentucky's back in it.
Well, even when you're playing a zone, you've got to guard a man in your area as if it's man-to-man. And that time, Matt Rowe didn't do it. Davender just ate him up.
Boeheim calls timeout.
World Figure Skating Championships, coming soon.
When the heat's on, motor oil viscosity can break down. To help keep your engine cool, trust Haviland Supreme. The motor oil is cool under fire. Haviland's viscosity booster helps protect engines against wear under extreme heat and stress. Haviland Supreme, cool under fire.
Now, everywhere in the world you can dial direct. You can dial direct with MCI. Everywhere.
Ujambo.
Until you call, you'll never know how much better a long-distance company can be.
These are the hands of Mr. Goodwrench. Hands with the know-how to fix things. Hands of skill. Hands that care. The working hands of Mr. Goodwrench. No one knows your GM car better. No one.
If you're an owner of an import car, Chevrolet has some valuable news for you. Our $1,200 cashback offer on new Chevy Nova has been so successful, we've extended it until April 30th, so you've got more time to add up all of Nova's features. Then subtract $1,200 cash back to get the only answer for your next car. Chevy Nova.
The heartbeat of America. Just to say Chevrolet.
Tonight's lineup on CBS includes a story about an assistant coach here at Kentucky. Do you see that Bluegrass is due to start tonight, the miniseries? He's handsome enough to be a movie star, isn't he, Jimmy Dykes? Well, they hired him as an extra for the series. He's got the largest part of any extra. You'll see him at a table tonight discussing, of all things, who's going to win the Kentucky Derby. He makes his acting debut. He also, folks, is one of the most eligible bachelors in all of college basketball. I told Jimmy I would throw that in.
You know what he almost was discussing at that table tonight? The technical foul he got in the first half, which he wouldn't be too happy with.
6:15 to go here with Syracuse leading Kentucky 51-48.
Brent, would they have had an ex-assistant coach in that Bluegrass? I mean, Eddie Sutton loses a close game on an assistant coach with a technical.
Davender apparently has the strap broken on his goggles. He had an eye scratched earlier this year. He's moving up to the free throw line without the goggles on right now. The trainer trying to adjust them over at the side, and the official said, you want to call another timeout, and he'll come out and shoot without him. They leave him on. 6:15, and the fans alive in the Rupp Arena. Without Rex Chapman, the Wildcats have closed back in.
They stay in their 2-3 zone, even though they showed a little up-court pressure.
The half-court game is not the Syracuse strength. But it was that time as Rowe buries the home run, his first of the afternoon. And Syracuse 2 of 3 shooting the three.
Good confidence by Jimmy Boeheim in Rowe, even though Rowe had missed 3 in a row. Putting right back in the ballgame.
Davender penetrates. Oh, the goggles are destined to stay over there in the hands of the trainer.
You see what Davender has done? He feels he can take Rowe, so he set himself up right in his area.
Seikaly deep. His spot.
That's
foul called on Kentucky. That's 4 on Locke.
You notice how well Syracuse adjusts in their half-court offense with Seikaly in the game. When he went out for those couple of minutes, they just didn't ever look inside at all.
Now, a freshman like Ellis has got to learn how hard you must come from the weak side. When they get the ball into the big man's hands and give Locke some assistance there underneath, that'll come with some time. But you could see Ellis kind of hesitate on that weak side and watch the play develop.
And here again is that free throw shooting of Syracuse that must drive Jimmy Boeheim crazy.
They've missed their last 5. They'd be national champions if they'd hit a couple of important free throws against Indiana down in New Orleans. Now they miss 6. Ellis off with the rebound.
And they go to the line so much, Brent. I mean, this is a club that has a lot of opportunities in a front end of 1-and-1s, which they never convert on.
Bennett here on the other side with Ellis. Manuel's on the right. Jenkins coming through the lane with Locke out. Davender off the penetration again. Misfiring, but into the hands of Bennett. Bennett will crash for the 3. Wouldn't get the roll, but he'll come to the line, and that's what he wanted, was a 3-point scoring opportunity off that drive. That's 2 on Coleman, and after our NCAA basketball, we'll send you out to the Riviera. Final round of the Los Angeles Open. Delayed by rain, but they are certainly expecting resumption of play there.
Then one of the things that Kentucky is starting to do now, particularly with Davender's penetration, Eddie's getting his glasses back on, and that is they're sending 4 men to the offensive boards, which means that Syracuse ought to be able to get a fast break opportunity here the next time Davender drives and misses a shot. Free throw shooting is starting to pile up now. Kentucky, an excellent free throw shooting club, although they weren't in the first half.
Still having some adjustment problems. Now he seems satisfied. Bennett can make it a 2-point game. 4:52 remaining. Missing, and Manuel gets in behind Seikaly and pulls it down.
They're just killing Syracuse off the board. Syracuse, even with Seikaly having 5, may have to go man-to-man.
Kentucky will use a timeout.
Once, there were a few proud men of adventure, men of courage, men who knew the meaning of honor. There still are, the Marines. We're looking for a few good men.
Listen to the heartbeat of America.
Now there's a powerful new reason to follow your heart. The new 4.3-liter V6, available in S10 Blazer. 28% more power than before, and 50% more torque. The new 4.3-liter V6, the biggest engine ever offered in Blazer's class.
The heartbeat of America.
Chevy S10 Blazer.
Today's Chevy truck. It's the right view at the right time. It's the silver bullet that stays with us. A new way to go to town. The silver bullet won't slow you down. So come on, the cruise light is the right fear now. To the good life, yeah. Good life, yeah. So come on, the cruise light is the right fear now.
It is played on a course known as one of America's worlds of golf. The Los Angeles Open presented by Nissan, continuing next on CBS Sports.
With Billy Packer and James Brown, I'm Brent Musburger, and we have reached the 5-minute mark here. That shows you the timeouts, fouls to give, and Syracuse would have the ball if we have a jump ball situation. Foul trouble shows 4 players with 4, and Billy Packer, what do you think Jim Boeheim might have done here with this timeout?
I think it is a good move. He's gone into a box and 1, and I expected him to change defense because Eddie Sutton obviously called that timeout to set up a special play. But here you can see a junk defense by Syracuse, a little box and 1, Stevie Thompson on Davender. So a nice counter move by Jimmy Boeheim.
There's Thompson chasing Davender.
Sutton realizing that he's been changed up, so what he's set to do will not work right now.
Newell gets it back and cross quickly to Bennett. Here's his spot on the left side. Practice paying off for the senior from Louisville, Winston Bennett, who has tied it at the 4:11 mark.
And they go back to man-to-man. It's time to get Rony Seikaly the ball in low.
Or Coleman, who ships it back out and then takes the return pass on the inside. Short, gets his own rebound. Ellis falls out, and it looked like a clean block.
Good block. Boy, he was right on top of the ball. Now, Coleman's doing a great job down and low. Ellis right behind him. But I think he got all ball on this one. This is the first shot. Coleman gets it back with those great hands. Boy, that's all ball, Brent.
So freshman Leron Ellis fouls out.
Well, Eddie's putting him back, do we? Yeah, Eddie doesn't realize he has 5. Maybe he doesn't.
I think Ellis knew it, and that's why he went over to the side.
Yeah, he's out of there. Eddie didn't realize it. What Eddie's trying to say right now is that the foul was called on 23 and not 24, but it, without any question, Eddie just trying to pull one there. And here we see Coleman grabs the great offensive rebound, pulls it back down. He's going to go up for the shot again. Now here is the block. Boy, that's a great block. But not wearing a striped shirt or having a whistle, it wasn't such a good block because it's a foul.
Block returns. And Coleman with 11 points and 15 rebounds at the line.
Boy, he zipped both of those. That's 4 in a row for Derek.
Now remember, both Locke and Seikaly playing with 4 fouls.
And Syracuse stays in the box in 1. Stevie Thompson on Davender.
Bennett on the baseline missing. Rebound Syracuse, but he stepped out of bounds. Thompson came down before he released the ball. Kentucky with a second chance to retie it or even go ahead on a 3-point field goal.
Now Stevie Thompson playing the 2-3 zone here on the out-of-bounds situation, which means that see if he can drop back and to get into his box and 1. Then they're going to stay in the 2-3 zone. Syracuse confused right now. Rowe wanting them to play the box and 1.
Davender out on top. Seikaly rebounded at the 3-minute mark. Douglas takes some seconds off the clock before sending it to Thompson.
You know where they're going with this ball.
Locke goes down, tries to draw the offensive foul, does not.
They want Seikaly to touch that ball at least one time here.
Douglas off a spin move, sends it, and it's intercepted by Locke, who gives it up into the hands of Manuel. Rowe and Thompson back defensively. Another opportunity to tie it.
Then sometimes you try so hard for one thing in the game that the defense can adjust, and that's what happened.
Bennett has it deflected by Coleman, and Emmanuel's hands scored and put him on the free throw line.
Real concentration here by Manuel. Excellent block by Coleman coming across. Manuel stays right with it, even though they come down in his face after the shot. Best cheerleader on that Kentucky bench is none other than Rex Chapman. He's really into the game.
There's the star. Warm-up jacket still on.
You can see how intense he is.
Manuel attempting to put the Wildcats ahead.
Syracuse so intent in getting that ball to Rony Seikaly. Let's see if they go back to him again. They set up in their 1-4 offense.
Douglas came up with a shot. He wanted to pass the ball, got up in the air, and there was some cutting motion on his left, and so he shot it.
Stevie Thompson messed him up. Cut all the way under the basket. There was no passing lane. Sutton wanting to use some time.
With a 1-point lead, he brings it down toward that 140 mark. Free throws will certainly be vital here the rest of the way, too. They're inside of 10. Davender off the fake. Douglas with him. And so Bennett is short, but there was a foul.
Over the back, Seikaly will be on the line, and he's certainly had his problems there, Brent. Shooting on the year, only 55%.
He is 1 of 5 here this afternoon shooting free throws. He ties it. And Syracuse is 13 of 24 from the line. They have shot 11 more free throws than Kentucky. The Wildcats are 6 of 13. The Orangemen lead. Boeheim directing the defense.
And they're going to go back to their box and 1.
They'll chase Davender. Davender coming underneath. Thompson watching him.
This seems almost like that Georgetown Villanova game. We're right, I'm right next to you here. This game's getting tense. You're going to let Jenkins have that shot.
Manuel will take it. The freshman puts Kentucky up by a point inside of a minute. Boeheim will bring him across the line and call the timeout.
Senior VP MIS, big RFP, no imaging. So I'm showing him 4 windows in the Wang workstation. IBM, VS. He says, I know you can do that. I saw your commercials. 5th window is a Wiz file. He says, what's that? I said, that's an image of the RFP you sent last week. We put it on Wiz, scanned it, and put it on an optical disc. No big deal. What do you mean, no big deal? You told me to leave Wiz, Wang's integrated image system, out of the RFP. He laughs, grabs a piece of paper, hands it to Ellen, asks her to scan it. Up it comes on the screen in his own handwriting. I've changed my mind.
That's wild.
I'm telling you, Wiz is going to change everything.
Guy came by today trying to sell me some imitation body parts. Copycat hoods, doors, and fenders for GM cars. But I wasn't buying.
You see, I know some of those imitations don't come up to GM specs for fit, finish, and corrosion protection. How do you protect yourself? Ask to see a repair order before insurance work begins. And insist on genuine General Motors parts. Remember, it's your car, and it's your choice.
Why do so many people choose GMAC financing to get the GM car or truck of their dreams? GMAC makes it easy. You do it all right at your GM dealers. And we make it easy on your budget with rates and terms to fit your needs. Don't just dream about a new GM car or truck. See your GM dealer about GMAC financing. Official sponsor of America's Dreams.
Here in Lexington, even without Rex Chapman, the Wildcats have taken the lead. I'm Brett Musburger along with Billy Packer. There's a look at what we have. Neither team in trouble as far as timeouts are concerned. In case of a jump ball, Syracuse will have possession, and both teams were in the penalty some time ago. So it's 59-58 Kentucky, and what do you think Boeheim might come up with here offensively?
Without question, he's going to try to pump that ball. He's got plenty of time to pump that ball down to Rony Seikaly. Tell Coleman to get up on the boards. From the weak side, Kentucky goes in there man-to-man. I thought they might throw a little zone at him. Let's see what they're playing. Without a cutter, I can't tell what defense they're in.
Douglas, and getting a hand on the ball was Jenkins as he came down the baseline and tossed up one of those lobs.
Now a new 45, and this is the rule I don't agree with. If a good defensive play is made, the pressure should be on Syracuse there, but it penalized Kentucky for having a good defensive play.
So in other words, they can bring it down for the last shot and win it at the buzzer. The Wildcats no longer have an automatic opportunity to get the ball back. There's 25 seconds against Eddie Sutton, and Syracuse can end it all on a last shot here if that's the opportunity they want to go for.
Exactly, Brent. They had a 7-second differential, which means Kentucky, no matter what Syracuse did, would have one last chance. They'll not get that now.
And like you say, it was Jenkins who should be credited with a good defensive move.
Sure.
Be right back for the last 25 of regulation.
Folks need a little help?
And how will you be paying for that?
American Express.
If you stop by our Minneapolis office tomorrow, you can pick up a new card.
I'm having some trouble checking into this hotel.
I can take care of it. Let me just talk to the hotel manager.
Thank you.
Okay.
A friendly voice in the middle of the night. Membership has its privileges.
It's the same old line I fall for every time. Just as good, only cheaper. So, it's 5 minutes before the market closes. I'm on the phone, waiting for it to ring, watching my hair turn gray. Waiting. I can't get through.
Without AT&T, you're twice as likely to get a busy circuit.
One of these days, you'd think I'd learn.
AT&T's worldwide intelligent network. Because we know it's not just long distance. It's your business on the line. AT&T, the right choice.
How to shave a giant. Avoid big trouble. Use the Gillette Good News Plus disposable. It's got the Lubra-Smooth strip. So the comfortable shave for a giant is
this little guy.
Good News Plus from Gillette.
No one really knows how your skin got sensitive. But if it is, try the shave cream with more advanced lubricants than any other. Gillette Foamy for sensitive skin.
He always looks like the calmest man in the house, doesn't he? Coach Jim Boeheim of Syracuse. And they're certainly under it today. It's a 59-58 count right now. 25 seconds. Derek Coleman will take the ball out of bounds under the Syracuse goal. Douglas can always bust away deep if he wants it. Coleman looks in his direction and then goes cycling.
2-3 zone by Kentucky.
Douglas on a runner, can't get it to fall. Manuel yanks it away. Manuel out on the dribble. Manuel breaks free. Quickly to Seikaly. 5 seconds, but there is a timeout. Still time for Boeheim to get it to overtime, Billy. He's down 3.
That's right, and he's got a good man in row to go ahead and put up that shot. You can't blame Syracuse for what they eventually got. They like to put that ball up on the board and give that great rebounding twosome of Coleman and Seikaly a chance. That's exactly what they had. But Coleman went up a little early. Manuel gets it, and of course you can see everybody standing and looking. Rowe falls down, and that gave Manuel a clear shot to the hoop. Now,
here's Boeheim watching as Douglas penetrates, following the ball, saying, "Get it, Derek." Now on the far side, and then he sees Manuel come out on the dribble, and Rowe is beaten, and he says, uh-oh. Eddie Sutton's reactions are entirely different from Boeheim. He says, "Come on, freshman, get it in there." That's it, ride it. Now, come on, let's play some D.
Brett, we still have 7 seconds to go in this ball game. Plenty of time, and of course, if you're Syracuse, you have got to go for the three-point play. And here's something I believe in. I believe in fouling. Now,
I know exactly what you're going to do. You've been saying this for 2 years, Coach Packer.
No way you give a team a chance to make
the three. Knock him down when he goes in here and put him on.
Well, no, I don't ever even get him in a chance to get the shot off. You go foul, put him on the line, and end up with your own destiny. No way they can beat you.
3-pointers today, in case you're wondering. Syracuse is 2 of 5. And regardless of what happens today, Billy, you and I got a big one up in the Carrier Dome. We always look forward to going to Syracuse next week. They'll play Pittsburgh, and that could decide a regular season race in the Big East. Great fans up there.
Now, Seikaly is out of the game. That surprised me a little bit. Duncan in the ball game. Seikaly not there to rebound. Jimmy Boeheim figures it's one and done.
And Manuel comes in on Douglas right away. Ball out of bounds, and they knock 2 seconds off that clock, however. It's down to 5.
You know who they want to get this shot off is Rowe, and he's being guarded by Jenkins, which would be tough for him to shoot over him.
Douglas breaks loose Kentucky ball. Locke fires it up in the crowd. With 4 seconds to go, the Wildcats start the celebration.
Douglas is down on that sideline. He ran right into Locke trying to chase the ball down. You know, with 7 seconds, I don't know why Syracuse was working so hard.
There is Douglas getting back up on the Syracuse sideline. He crashed into Locke trying to chase it down on the lead pass.
You know, 7 seconds is a lifetime, and they had another timeout to go also. Little body English.
Rony Seikaly, you see him hold his head when that ball was coming free, and now Locke stepping up to the free throw line. How many times in basketball have we seen a team lose its star and the rest of the club bands together? That was the case here this afternoon for Eddie Sutton, playing without Rex Chapman.
What did they call that? An intentional?
Yes.
Did they?
Yes, they did. It's over. Kentucky beat Syracuse in Lexington. Eddie Sutton and Jim Boeheim shake hands. It's a 4-point Wildcat win. Southeastern Conference over the Big East here this afternoon. Our Chevrolet players of the game. For Syracuse, Rony Seikaly. He led the way offensively. And the lead man for Kentucky, Eddie Davender. The check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated to each school's general scholarship fund. Our final score, Kentucky 62, Syracuse 58. For Billy Packer and James Brown, I'm Brent Musburger. NCAA basketball has been a presentation of CBS Sports, home of the NCAA championship. Golf is coming your way next.